सर्वेभ्यः नमस्काराः। सिद्धान्तकौमुद्याः हलन्तपुल्लिङ्गप्रकरणे तृतीयः पाठः। आगस्ट् मासस्य प्रथमः दिनाङ्कः। येनाक्षरसमां नायमधिगम्य महेश्वरात् कृत्स्नं व्याकरणं प्रोक्तं तस्मै पाणिनये नमः। वाक्यकारं वररुचिं भाष्यकारं पतञ्जलिं पाणिनिं सूत्रकारं च प्रणतोऽस्मि मुनित्रयम्। मुनित्रयं नमस्कृत्य तदुक्तिः परिभाव्य च वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तकौमुदीह्यं विरच्यते। हलन्तपुल्लिङ्गेषु प्रथमः भागः। हकारान्ताः पुल्लिङ्गाः धीयन्ते। हकारान्तपुल्लिङ्गेषु साधारणं कार्यं भवति होढः इत्यनेन ढत्वं। पदान्ते झलिपदान्ते इत्युच्यते। अत्र तु पदान्ते इत्यस्यैव उपयोगः। अर्थात् सुप्रत्यये ततः भ्यामादिषु हलादिषु होढः इत्यनेन ढत्वं भवति। उदाहरणार्थं लिह् इति प्रातिपदिकं तस्य होढः इति ढत्वे कृते तु सामान्यतः जस्त्वं भवति। तेन लिड् लिड्भ्याम् इत्यादि विकल्पेन चत्वे लिट् लिड् इत्यादि रूपाणि। होढः इत्यस्य अपवादत्वेन सूत्रद्वयम् उपात्तम्। एकं तु दादेर्धातोर्घः। यदि हकारान्तः तस्य धातुसंज्ञा अस्ति दकारादित्वमपि अस्ति तदा ढत्वं बाधित्वा अनेन घत्वं विधीयते। घत्वे कृते पुनः जस्त्वे गकारः श्रूयते। डकारस्य स्थाने गकारः। यथा दुह् धातोः धुग्भ्यां धुक् धुग् इत्यादि रीत्या। एवमेव केषाञ्चन धातूनां दृः मुहुः श्नुः श्निः इत्येतेषां चतुर्णां धातूनां विकल्पेन घत्वम्। अर्थात् एकस्मिन् पक्षे घत्वं भवति अपरस्मिन् पक्षे ढत्वम्। अतः रूपद्वयम् अथवा प्रथमाविभक्तौ एकवचने रूपचतुष्टयं श्रूयते। अतः मुह् धातोः मुक् मुग् इति घत्वपक्षे मुट् मुड् इति ढत्वपक्षे अन्यत्र मुग्भ्यां मुड्भ्याम् इत्यादि. So there's one thing which I've been wanting to mention but somehow it didn't come up during the lessons. To notice that these are all in the Tripadi. Right? Hodhaha is 8 to 31, Dadir Dhaturghaha is 32, and Vadruhamuha Shnuhashniham is 33. Okay. Since it is in the Tripadi, actually Purvatra Siddham ityadhikaraha vidyate. यदि पूर्वत्रा सिद्धम् इत्यधिकारः अस्ति तर्हि होढः इति सूत्रं प्रति दादेर्धातोर्घः इति सूत्रम् असिद्धम्। एवमेव दादेर्धातोर्घः इति सूत्रं प्रति एतदपि असिद्धम्। यदि असिद्धम् इति स्वीक्रियते तदा किं भवति? सर्वत्र होढः इत्यस्यैव प्रवृत्तिः स्यात्। होढः, if these two sutras were asiddha to hodhaha by purvatra siddham, hodhaha will not know that these exist. So even in case of duh dhatu, hodhaha will apply because it does not know there is a sutra to overrule. Similarly, in case of this also, druhu, muhu, etc., everywhere we have a blanket application of hodaha. That would have been the case if Purvatra Siddham was taken like as every sutra. But that is one speciality of that asiddha adhikara, that it does not apply in case of this utsarga apavada bhava. Wherever there is a sutra and an apavada sutra, the apavada sutra will not be asiddha to the utsarga sutra. It applies prakarana wise. That is, you take this whole thing, these three sutras together as a prakarana. So for these sutras, whatever comes later would be asiddha. But among these three, the asiddhatva will not apply. Okay. So if there is an option between hodaha and dader dhaturghaha, since dader dhaturghaha is an apavada sutra, this will apply. Hodaha will not apply even though it is the earlier sutra, which is in contrast to how we always apply sutras in Ashtadhyayi. So to note that even though we generally say Tripadyam Purvam Pratiparam Sutram Shastram Asiddham Syat, etc., so there are exceptions. There are chunks of sutras which actually go together. Okay? So between these three sutras there is no asiddhatva applying. So hakaradanteshu etani एतत् कार्यद्वयं ढत्वं वा घत्वं वा भवति। अन्यदपि कार्यम् आसीत् एकाचो वशोभश् झषन्तस्य धोः। धातोरवयवः यः एकात् झषन्तः तदन्तस्य वशः स्थाने भश् स्यात् सकारे धशब्दे पदान्ते इत्युच्यते। यथा दुः धातुः यत्र धातुः स्यात् धातुसंज्ञा स्यात् अर्थात् धातोः निष्पन्नं प्रातिपदिकं स्यात् तत्र एकाच् स्यात्। यु टेक् वन् एकाच् समूह तत्र झषन्तत्वं स्यात् बश् अपि स्यात् बश् वर्णः। As you have in say duh, after you convert the hakara to ghakara, dugh iti ekach samuha. Okay, so this dugh is ekach and it was originally a dhatu, so the dhatu samya remains. It is jhashanta because ghakara, this is jhashvarna. It has a bash in the form of this dakara. So this dakara will be converted to dhakara, bhash. So this is the replacement of a third letter by fourth letter. It is called bhashbhava. So dakara is replaced by dha, so you have dhugh, and then you have jashtva, etc. So it becomes dhuk, dhug, dhugbhyam, etc. Okay. So that is what I studied in the last two classes. And then there were some prayogas which I'd asked you to look at. So anybody would like to volunteer? If you have been able to. Very easy, of course. There's nothing complicated. I just wanted to show how hakarantas have been used in literature. Okay. Anybody volunteers to find out which is the hakaranta word here and give the prakriya? And then you can even do it now on the spot. Yes.
Can I try now?
Yeah, sure.
Krishnangri Padma Madhulinna, I think that is where the Madhulikha
Yes.
is. With the Nishta Pratyaya, I think Takara is brought in. That's the thought. Madhulikha will become Madhulidha.
Exactly.
Okay. And then the fifth case, Nakara will comes because of the Takara. I could not find out how it became Nakara.
So that's just a sandhi. Which sandhi? Anunasika sandhi. Right. It's eronunasike anunasikova. Have madhulid na. So when followed by anunasika, the Varganunasika will be the adesha. So dakarasya sthane nakaraha adesha.
Yeah. The Takara, how that Takara here in the Nishta Pratyaya became Nakara, I could not understand.
How the dakara?
How the, see, Madhulika plus Sa in the Nishta Pratyaya, I thought it became the Nakara there.
No, you have no. You have madhulih, which is supratyaya. Krishnangri Padma madhulit is prathama ekavachana. So you have supratyaya. So you get hodhaha. Pratyaya gets deleted. You have hodhaha. It becomes madhulidh. Jhalam jashanta iti jashtvam. So it becomes madhulid na. Idanim anunasika sandhi.
Yeah, that part I understood, but what I did not understand is where is the Nakara coming from?
Na is another word.
Oh, na is another word, is it? Oh, na punarvisishta.
Na ramate. Punaha visrishta maya guneshu vrijinavaheshu na ramate.
Oh, okay. So now I thought it was some kind of Kritanta Rupam.
Oh, no. Okay, so here the word is madhulid. That is Krishnangri Padma madhulid is the samasa. So it's a hakaranta pullinga where madhulih prathama ekavachana. Madhulit ityasya bhramaraha ityartha. So what the shloka is saying is Krishna Angri Padma madhulit. A bee, that is somebody who knows, a bee which knows the taste of the nectar of the lotus of Krishna's feet, lotus feet of Krishna. Krishnangri Padma madhulit punaha visrishta maya guneshu vrijinavaheshu na ramate. So it does not like to go to other flowers which have visrishta maya guneshu. Guna is the threads which are in the stalk. He says maya guneshu, which are held by the stalk of maya. Vrijinavaheshu, and which are very sinful. So it does not naramate. It does not enjoy the nectar of any other flowers. He says that it's only the lotus feet of Krishna which is whose nectar is worthy of drinking, and others are all not. So here it's a Rupakalankara, of course. It means the devotee.
I could follow up the Nakara with the Nakara, how it changes, but I could not find out how Nakara.
Yeah, right. It's just naramate iti anmaya. So supratyayah pratyasya lopah hodhah iti dhattam jashtvam anunasika sandhihi. Okay. एकः शब्दः सुष्ठुज्ञातः सुप्रयुक्तः स्वर्गे लोके कामधुग् भवति. A very famous quote from the Mahabharata. So people keep using it lots of times. So anybody?
It is the Kamadukha.
Right. So as everybody said, it is Kamaduh iti pratipadikam. Kamadhug bhavati. Kamadhug is the form. Prathamaikavachana. It could also be actually Strilinga because Shabdaha Kamadhug bhavati. But Kamadhug, as in this Hakaranta, can be used both as Pullinga and Strilinga. It wouldn't make a difference because there is no Karya which depends on the Linga of the word. So Katham Prakriya Kamaduh ityasti Supratyayah Pratyasya Lopah as usual. Anantaram Dader Dhator Khaha Duh iti Dakaradhi Dhatuh Tena Ghattam Bhavati. धत्वे कृते एकाचो वशो भष् इत्यनेन भष् भावः धुघ दुघ इति धुघ इति भवति. पुनः जष्ट्वे कामधुग् कामधुग् भवति. एकः शब्दः says the भाष्यकार says just one word सुष्ठु ज्ञातः सुप्रयुक्तः. You understand it well and you use it well. स्वर्गे लोके कामधुग् भवति. It acts like कामधेनु in Swarga. Okay, so it's just the importance of knowing words and using the usage of words. One of the things which he uses when detailing the importance of Vyakarana. Okay. So Raghupanji says there is no difficult Visarga Sandhi and hence it's a popular saying. There is no this and yeah, it's okay. Okay, so the next one, okay, this is from the Mahabharata, I guess. Kamatma pragyamani cha mitradhruk sarvashankitah akarta cha kritagnyascha tyakta dharmah priyanratah. I think this is a condemnation of either Dhritarashtra or Duryodhana. I forgot who. I looked at it, but yeah. So the word right. First we found it is Mitra Druh. Mitra Drohi ityarthe Mitrasya Dhrug. So Suhradrohi ityarthe Kamatma Pragyamani Mitra Dhruk Sarvashankitah iti sarvatra. Druh Mitra Druh iti pratipadikam Supratyayah tasya lopah Va Druhamuhashnuhashniham. Druh dhatuh tena vikalpena ghatvam bhavati. Dhatvasyapi rupam sya mitra dhrut iti kintu atra ghatvasya rupam prayuktam. Punah drugh iti sthite झषन्तात्वात् भष् भावे कृते ध्रुघ भवति. जष्ट्वं पुनः चर्तुं खर्वसानयोर् विसर्जनीयः. Because I mean the general thing is you do not take the word itself, you take it with its vakya. There is sakara following, which is a kharvarna. So the dhrug has been converted to dhruk. Kharichaitanena chartve mitra dhruk sarvashankitah iti rupam. I hope it is easy to understand. Kamatma is very greedy. Pragyamani, this is one special usage in, I mean not special, but one of the interesting usages in Sanskrit where you have say Panditam Manyaha or Panditamani. He thinks of himself as a Pandita, or he thinks of himself as an intelligent person or a scholar. Pragyamani, Pragyam Atmanam Manyate. He thinks of himself, which means he is not. Okay, that is the emphasis, is that he is not, but he thinks of himself as Pragyam. Pragyamani cha Mitradhruk. He would say he is not sincere or faithful to his friends. Sarvashankitaha, who is doubted by everybody. It is who does not have anybody's trust. Akarta, he does not do anything well. Cha akritagnyascha, he does not have gratitude. Tyakta dharmaha, he has gone away from the path of dharma. Priyanritaha, priyam anritam yasya saha, he who likes lies, likes falsehood. So okay, so then again from Bhagavata, Tatkatyatam Mahabhaga Yadi Krishna Kathashrayam Athavasya Padambhoja Makarandaliham Satam. Okay, this is again very easy. So it is the Shashti Bahuvachana of Makarandalih, Makarandaliham. Shashti Makarandalih Am Pratyaya Shashti Bahuvachane. So Kimapi Nasti, since the Pratyaya happens to be Ajadi, there is no Karya. You just join them and put it. So this is the same thing as you saw in Madhulit. Madhu and Makaranda are Paryaya Padas, so the meaning is the same. So he's saying, tell me the story of either Krishna or of the Satam, of the Sajjanas, good people, Asya Padambhoja Makaranda Liham, who are like bees at the lotus feet of Krishna. Same expression, similar expression, and again from Bhagavata. Okay, so stop here. The rest, I think there were 4 more or 5 more, which I'll take it tomorrow. Now, moving on with Hakaranta Pullingas. Turasah Shabdah. Turam अर्थात वेगम सहते इत्यर्थे शहमर्षणे धातोः निजन्तात् क्विप् क्रियते अथवा णिप् प्रत्ययः कर्तुं शक्यते. There are 2 vyutpattis. So you have dirgha for the purvapada, you get tura sah. Turashat means Indra, and this is a paryaya pada for Indra. The Amara says Turashan Meghavahanaha or something of that sort. So Turashat means Indra. So how do we get that form from Turasah? The question. Turasah ityasya supratyayah kriyate. Pratyayasya halgyabhyah ityanena lopaha. Idanim hakarantatvat, the general karya. This is not a dadi dhatu. Dakaraditvan nasti dhatoho, and it is not in the list. Druha muhashnuhashniha itrapi nasti. Ataha hodhaha ityanena tatvam kriyate. Turasadh bhavati. Jhalam jashvante ityanena jashtve turasad iti rupam. Idanim turasad iti sthite asyam sthitau sahe sadasaha iti sutram. Padatrayam sahehe sadaha saha. Very simple. Apadantasya murdhanyaha ityadhikaraha. This is the beginning of the Shatva Prakarana of the Ashtadhyayi. The Shatva Prakarana is one of the most important and one of the most confusing prakaranas in Ashtadhyayi, in grammar generally, because it's very difficult to know where you get Shatva, where you don't get Shatva, where is the Apavada, what is the Utsarga. It's very, well, unless you go deep into it, it's something which confuses normal people, because if you know one sutra, you cannot apply it. I mean, first of all, there are many Utsarga Apavada Bhavas, and it happens to be in the Tripadi. So when you take both these factors, it makes for a pretty, unless you know the entire Prakarana, you cannot definitively say, will there be Shatva, will there not be Shatva, because it might appear that it satisfy the conditions of Shatva by one sutra, whereas there might be a Nishedha somewhere later. Or if there has been a Nishedha, there might be some overruling sometime later. So this is one thing which requires a comprehensive knowledge of the Prakarana to be sure of your answer. So anyway, this is where it starts, 8455, where it says Apadantasya Murdhanyaha. It doesn't say Shaha directly, but it is Saha ityanuvartate. So Sakarasya Murdhanyadeshaha. So a Murdhanya for Sakara by Antaratamya would be Shakara, Murdhanya Shakara. Sadrupasya Sahehe Sasya Murdhanyadeshaha Syat. So wherever this Sah Dhatu is in the form of Sat, that is, it has been converted to Sa and there has been Dhatva, Jashtva. Now it is in the form of Sad. Okay. Sadrupasya Sahehe Sasya Sakarasya Murdhanyadesho Bhavati. Sakarasya Murdhanyadeshaha Nama Shakaraha Bhavati. Ityarthaha. The Apadantasya does not apply to this sutra because the Saha becomes Sad only in Padanta. Okay. So this Padantasya does not apply to this sutra, only Murdhanyaha. Saha Murdhanyaha. Sakarasya Murdhanyadesho Bhavati. Shatvam Bhavati. Ityarthaha. So, or yeah, no, sorry, it does apply because the Sakara is in Apadanta. Thinking something else. Okay. The Sakara, the Adesha is for Sakara, which is Sat, which is Apadanta. So Apadantasya Murdhanyasya iti adhikaraha asti. So you have Tura, Sad, Sadrupasya Sahehe Sasya, Sakarasya sthane Shakaraha, Tura, Shad. Okay. So Sahe Sad Saha ityanena Sasya Shaha Bhavati. Tura Shad Vavasane iti vikalpena charte, Tura Shat, Tura Shad iti rupadvayam. Ajadishu pratyeshu tu Turasah au Turasahau Turasahaha. Since there is no Sat, the Shatva will also not apply. That is why he says Sadaha. He did not just say Sahehe. If he just said Sahehe, even here we should have got Shatva. But only when it has been converted to Sad, you get Murdhanyadesha. So Turashat, Turasahau, Turasahaha. Turasaham, Turasahau, Turasahaha, etc. Turasah Bhyam. स्थिते पुनः पदत्वात् होढः इत्यनेन ढत्वं भवति तस्य जष्ट्वं तुरासाड् भ्याम् इति स्थिते सहेसाडसः इत्यनेन षत्वे तुराषाड्भ्याम् इति रूपं तुरासाः तुराषाड्भ्यां तुराषाड्भिः तुरासाहे तुराषाड्भ्यां तुराषाड्भ्यः इत्यादीनि रूपाणि. Now Dikshiter gives a couple of words about the nishpati of the word Turashat, Turasaharan, Turam Sahate ityarthe, Chandasi Saha ityarena Numi Pratyaha. So you have Tura Sah and there is a suffix called Nimi in the Chandas. Okay. This sutra will apply only in the Vedas. So in the Vedas you will have Nimi Pratyaya by the sutra Chandasi Saha. So Turashad has been used widely in the Vedas. So no. And what do we do in Loka? Because even in classical Sanskrit there is usage of this word. Loke to sahayatehe kvipa. Sahayati nama sahadhatohu nich pratyah kriyate. Sahi nichaha nitvat atopathayaha iti dirghe sahi iti bhavati. Tasya kvipi krite turasah iti bhavati. Anyesham api dushyate iti purvapadasya dirghaha. So either way you have Sah is fine, but that is Turam Sahate. You have Tura and Sah. How did we get that Tura Sah? The Akara there. So it says Purvapadasya Dirghaha Anyeshamapi Drishyate iti sutrena. So the Tura becomes Tura Sah. So if it is the Chandas, that is the Vedas, we derive it by the Sutra Chandasi Sahaha. But Loke Prayoge tu Nijantasya Kvip Pratyaha Kriyate. So haladishu pratyayeshu hodhaha. So wherever the su again bhyam this and su hodhaha iti dhatvam jashtvam jashtve krute sakarasya sahessadasah ityanena shatvam. That is what happens in all these cases. In addition, saptami bahuvachane, after you have turashad after shatva, turashad su itis krite dasi dhut ityanena vikalpena dhudagamaha tasya chartve turashad su athava dhudabhave turashad su iti rupam. Okay, so that is the end of hakaranta pullingas. So in hakaranta pullingas we have lih and then duh, druha mohashnuhashniha, and then we had vishvavah and anaduh, right? That's all. And the last one is turasah, right? Specific karyas. Hodhaha or lih is the general hakaranta. Apart from that, there are certain exceptions to it. Tataha vakarantaha. I should come in the order hayavarat. Hakarantaha samaptaha. Yakarantaha shabdaha na santi. There are no yakaranta words. So he goes directly to vakarantas. Haya va. Vakarantaha pullingaha. Actually in vakaranta also there is one pratipadika which is div, which happens to be strilinga. Okay. So the div cannot be directly used as a pullinga. So we do a samasa for div. Shobhana dyauhu yasya saha. Iti bahuvrihi samase krite pullingatvam praptum shakyate. So sudiv iti hakaranta vakarantaha pullinga shabdaha. Okay. Sudiv is our pratipadika ending in vakara. Div and dyo means it means sky. Okay. Dyo diva udve striyam abhram vyoma pushkaram ambaram. So sudiv supratyaya krite vastutah halgyabhyah ityanena sulopah karaniyah kintu tatah prak diva out iti sutram. Divah out iti chedah. Savanaduhah ityanena sau iti anuvartate. Divah sau out. Div iti pratipadikasya out syat sau pare. Supratyaya pare aukarah adesho bhavati. Alontyasya ityanena antadeshah. Antyasya vakarasya sthane aukaradeshah. Sudiv s iti sthite. Sudi au s. Diva out ityanena autvam bhavati. Ikara aukarayoh iko venasi ityanena yani sudyau s iti sthitam. Idanim halyabhyah ityasya pravritti nasti. Tohi aukarah halantatvam nasti. Kintu sthanivadbhavena halantatvam anetum shakyate va iti prashnah. Aukarah adeshah kritah tasya sthanivadadesho analvidhau ityanena sthanivadbhavena vakaratve krite tasya idanim halantatvam jayate. If we bring in the sthani which was vakara, now this is halanta. If this is halanta, we can use halgyabhyah. Okay, sulopah kartum shakyate va iti prashnah. Which is avayava shashti? Okay, I'll finish this and come to your question, Chandanji. Oh, okay. I think your question was based on this. Is this avayava shashti? Divaha iti. No, it is sthane. Divaha sthane aukaraha adeshah bhavati. It is sthana shashti. Okay. This question was, is divaha avayava shashti? Because if that is the case, then we can't apply sthanivat bhava because it is not sthani. But divaha sthane ityeva arthaha. Divaha sthane iti antyasya iti alontyasya paribhashaya labhyate. Okay. So tada, I mean, it's a very simple thing, but Dikshitar brings it up. Alvidhitvena sthanivatva bhavat. Sthanivad adeshah analvidhau. Yatra alvidhihi nasti. Atra sthani nama vakaraha. Vakarasya sthane aukaraha shrutah. Aukaraha adeshah kratah. Tasya sthanivad bhavena kim anetavyam? Halantatvam nama vakarantatvam anetavyam. Tatcha vakarantatvam aldharmaha. So the anything being halanta will depend on a single letter, that is the last letter being hal. Okay. So since the property which we desire through sthanivad bhava is an alvidhi, depends on the halnyabhyaha depends on the last letter being hal, and therefore it becomes an alvidhi. So in alvidhi we do not have sthanivat bhava. Alvidhitvena sthanivatva bhavat halnyabhyaha iti sulopo na. So we do not have sulopa. Sudyau s iti sthite sasajushoruhotyanena rutvam kharavasanayor visarchaniyah sudyauhu iti rupam. So sudyauhu iti vakarantasya div sudiv iti pratipadikasya prathamaikavachane rupam. Sudyauhu sudivau sudivaha. There we do not have any karya because diva out applies only in su. So sudiv au sudivau sudiv as sudivar sudivaha. Sudivam sudivau sudivaha sudiva. Sudivbhyam iti sthite tritiya dvivachane diva ut iti aparam sutram. Okay, so Priya points out. So why don't we apply when we were in say Sudiv? So once we did Autva, we are wondering why can we do Sulopa again? So can we do the Sulopa even before we do Autva is a question. We have Sudiv and Su, right? Idanim prashnaha, should we do Halyabhya dirghasitisya praktam hal or should we do Diva out? Iti prashnaha. So one thing is Parasutra, that is Diva out is Para, and also it is Nitya, that is whether we do Sulopa or not. Sulope krute akrute cha Diva out ityanena auttam bhavati. Kintu autve krute Sulopaha na bhavati. If we do Autva first, then Sulopa will not happen because the Nimitta is lost. Okay. So krita krita prasangi shastram nityam. So krita krite akrite cha yat shastram pravartate. Tat shastram nityam ityuchyate. Nitya shastra is one which would apply both before and after another sutra applies. That is, even if we do Sulopa first or we don't do Sulopa, Diva out can apply. But Sulopa, which is Halyabhya dirghat, it can apply only when Diva out has not been done. It will not be able to apply after Autva has been done. So in this case we say that Diva out is Nitya and Halyabhya is Anitya. So therefore when we question should we do Sulopa at this stage or should we do Autva, Paratvat Nityatvat, since this is a Nitya Sutra, it is also Parasutra, we apply Autva first. Once we do Autva, since Thanivat Bhava is prohibited because of Alvidhi, you cannot do Sulopa. So because of that it becomes Nitya. Okay. Right? Now Diva Ut. So remember there are two separate sutras. Diva Out is one sutra and Diva Ut is one more. Divaha Ut Tichedaha Eng Padantarati ityataha Padantat iti anuvartate. So Divaha Antadeshaha Ukaraha Syat Padante. So there you had Aukara and followed by Su. Here Padante Ukaraha Adesho Bhavati. So Diva Ut. Sudiv Bhyam iti sthite Makarasya sthane Ukaradeshe Sudi U Bhyam iti bhavati. Iko enasi ityanena enadeshe Sudyubhyam Ikara Ukarayoh sthane Yakaraha. Sudiva Sudyubhyam Sudyubhihi Sudive Sudyubhyam Sudyubhyaha ityadini rupani. So actually Diva out overrules this Diva ut because there does it overrule? No, it does not overrule because in Sudiv S there is no possibility of applying Diva ut, okay, because it is not Padanta. So there are two completely different sutras. So Diva ut applies in Padanta and Diva out applies only in case of Su Pratyaya. Sudyubhyam Sudyubhihi Sudiv Saupare Diva out iti Aukaradeshaha. So in Su, which is both Prathama and Sambodhana, because there is no Asambuddho Saupare. In both cases you have Diva out. So there is aukara adesha, you get sudyauhu, he sudyauhu. Haladishu pratyayeshu diva ut ityanena ukara adesha. Sudi ubhyam, sudyubhyam, sudyubhihi, sudyushu. In case of ajari pratyayas, there is nothing. You just join the pratipadika and pratyaya and you get the form. Any questions? Hello, Gopanji.
I didn't understand what is that Antadesha in the previous slide. Vritti was saying Ukara
Alontyasya.
but
Alontyasya.
Diva Divu
दिवः उत दिवः इति षष्ठी षष्ठी निर्दिष्टस्य अन्त्यस्य अलादेशः स्यात् उत is ukara is an aladesha ekal adesha, so it naturally occurs as antadesha. So there are some cases where Dikshitar mentions it in the sutrartha, some cases he does not. I mean, even in diva out it is antadesha for diva, he does not mention it, that's why. So it is using the paribhasha only. Any other questions? Okay, so in Vakarantas there's only one word. Yes?
Sometimes when you have things like div replacing out, so sometimes you say that it has to be a part, only then you can replace, or it has to be the exact word. In this Sudhiv, how do we decide? I mean, what determines say that Sudhiv, the div can be replaced by out, and or should it be just div? Because somewhere you say that if it is a part of it, then you cannot replace. It has to be the exact word. We had jaras, anya terasayam. So we said that jaras has to be certain sutras are exactly for that word, and certain
no, jaras also we have the same thing, right? There is this thing which says padangadhikare tasya cha tadantasya cha. Okay. So it will also get and tadanta will also get, but the question in Jarayah Jarasanyatarasyam was different. I mean, Jaraya Jarasanyatarasyam is slightly different here. Here, the Adesha is an Aladesha, right? So when it is an Aladesha, it will always replace the ending. Whether it is Div or Sudiv, it will replace the Vakara. So there is no problem actually. In Jaraya Jarasanyatarasyam, we have a slightly different situation because the Adesha is not Ekal. It is an Anekal Adesha. Okay. When it is an Anekal Adesha, we have an additional question because Anekalshit Sarvasya ityuchyate. It has to be a Sarvadesha. Now, should it be a Sarvadesha for only the Jara part of the Pratipadika, or should it replace the entire Nirjara? Is a question which will arise there. Sarvadesha ityuchyate. You can take both Jara and Nirjara is common to this and that. Tasyapi bhavati, tadantasyapi bhavati. In both cases, you can both take div, you can also take tadanta, which is any samasa having div at the end. There also you can take jara and anything having jara at the end, like nirjara or ajara, everything. But an additional question in jara would be, in this case, since it says alvantyasya, it is always vakara which you are replacing, which is fine. In jara, if it is only jara shabda, we replace the entire jara because it is a sarvadesha. So it becomes jaras. When it is nirjara, should we replace the entire nirjara or should we replace the jara part of it is an additional question. Then there is another paribhasha which says nirdishyamanasya adesha bhavanti. So we say that only the jara part of it will be replaced by jaras. So we have nirjaras as the word.
Okay.
But in both cases that is common. Tadantasyapi bhavati iti tu bhavatyam.
Okay. Thanks.
The thing is Antadesha with respect to Diva out. I thought the explanation was the Takara there is Karanatham. So you will not use Anekalshit Sarvasya, alone kind of thing.
Sorry,
there
sir.
in the Balamanorama, in the case of Diva out, it's also Antadesha, and it is not Anekalshit Sarvasya will not come into place because Takara is the confusion there. So Takara is only Ucharanartham, it says. I think the same thing applies to Ut also. And maybe that is the purpose with which they clearly
Out iti takaraha uchcharanarthaha, na tu adeshe takara shruyate. Is trying to see is it ekal adesha or anekal adesha. Diva out iti uchyate. Out ityatra takara shruyate. Is that takara, if it has two letters, if au and t together are the adesha, then it will be anekal. But it is not anekal.
Then anekal sarvasya will take place, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the reason why when he says Antadesha, then that's exactly in the case of Ut also, right?
Right. So that is what the Balamanoramakara says. Out iti takaraha uchcharanarthaha natu adeshe takara shruyate. Adeshe nama out adeshe krite takaraha na shruyate. Evancha anekalta prayittam sarvadeshatvam na. Arthata alontyasya ityanena antadeshatvam. Teva. Okay. Now I have a question. Out. What do you feel when you are saying out or diva ut? Okay. Why did Panini put that takara there? Balamanoramakara says it is uchcharanartha. Is there no other prayojana for it?
It will have only U and not the Savarna U's, out and not the Savarna.
So yeah, so the natural thing which we will feel is taparaha tatkalasya should be the answer, right? That is tatparaha, tahparaha yasmat saha, tatparascha uchcharyamana samakalasya adeshah syat. So when he says diva out, only dirgha ukara should be the adesha. And when he says diva ut, only ukara, which is hrasva ukara should be the adesha. So to prevent others, he is using taparakarana and therefore he uses out and ut is the explanation which comes to mind. Is that correct? If that is correct, why does Balamanoramakara say it is uchcharanarthaha? You should have said taparastatkarasya, taparakaranam. There is a difference between taparakaranam and uchcharanartha. Uchcharanartha means there is no use. It is a waste. It's just to pronounce. For ease of pronunciation is included. Which means takara does not have any meaning or any specific prayojana associated to it. Is what uchcharanartha means. So when it can be used for taparakarana, why does Balamanoramakara not state that prayojana? Can I really think of it? So maybe you can give it some thought. Why can taparastatkalasya be treated as the prayojana for takara in both cases? You have out and ut. He says diva out and he says diva ut. Can we say the takara is taparakarana?
I think he continues the conversation saying takarasya itsanyatu na palam abhavat. Palam abhavat.
But there is a phala, right? I'm showing you the phala. I do not want pluta aukara as the adesha. Aukara has both dirgha and pluta. I want only dirgha as the adesha. And in case of diva ut, I want only hrasva as the adesha. Hrasva and dirgha here will not give the same result. If we have hrasva, it is sudyubhyam. If it is dirgha, it would be sudyubhyam. So there is a difference. There is a phala in saying that I want only hrasva ukara and only dirgha ukara.
The au does not have swarita and all those. It's only one, right? Au there is no.
No. It has everything. It has 12. Echaha dvadasha. Tasya hrasva bhavat. There is no hrasva part, but it has 6 of dirgha and 6 of pluta. So I'll say I don't want the pluta. I want only the dirgha.
He goes ahead talking about Titsvaritasya tu na atra sambhavaha.
Titsvaritam is a swara sutra where you have Udanta Swarita, where there is something, a Swarita swara is mandated when something is tit. So he's asking whether takara is it. If takara has to be it, it has to have some prayojana. Titsvaritam is not the prayojana here because it says titi pratyaya grahanam. So it is not tit. He's just proving that it is not itva. He says takara is not it because phala bhavat. But my question is, why do you say phala bhavat? There is taparakarana. Why don't you treat it as taparakarana? There is a phala for taparakarana also, which I have shown, which is pluta nivritti in case of diva out and dirgha pluta nivritti in case of diva ut. There is a phala for taparakarana. Why is it not treated as taparakarana? Why does he say ucharanarthaha and there is no phala?
If takara is not there, then the sutra has to end the diva out, and diva out is to be a pada.
Diva au?
Yeah. If you say diva out, then how would you have the padacheda and vibhakti?
No, padacheda is all diva au. Au is au. Ashte sautratvat nirdeshat sadhutvam divaha aukaraha bhavati ityarthaha. Is what he says. What Balamanoramakara says is diva out ityatra takarasya ucharanarthatvam. Arthat actually there is nothing. Diva au ityukte siddhyati. There is nothing which changes. But I am arguing that it will change. If he just says au without the tapara, it can take both dirgha and pluta. If he says out with taparakarana, it can take only dirgha and not pluta, is what I am arguing, which is wrong. Why is my logic wrong, is my question. Where am I wrong in arguing that? This logic will not hold good. I will tell you that it is wrong. Why? Which point of it is wrong, is my question. It is not considered an ekal. If it were an ekal, it's a problem. Because it is ekal. It is only aukara with sadesha. We need it as an antadesha. So for an ekal, we should not have takara. What I am saying
that
clearly.
Is it taparakarana only for a and a, not for anything else?
Nothing like that. You can do for anything. All swaras can have taparakarana. But in this case, it is not taparakarana. Why is it not taparakarana? My question. Okay, for that, I mean, yeah. I know this is a bit difficult to understand, but you should understand the basic concept behind Anaditsavarnasya sapratyaya and taparastatkalasya. Okay, let me explain. When I am saying that it is taparakarana, that is there, au, by au, there is, if I just say au, it can take both dirgha and pluta. So to prevent pluta, I am doing taparakarana, and to take only dirgha is what I am arguing. Okay. So what lies behind the argument? There is an assumption that au means both dirgha and pluta. Right? Only when au means both dirgha and pluta, I can do a taparakarana to prevent the pluta and take only the dirgha. But how do we know that au means only dirgha, both dirgha and pluta? Au ityanena dirghasyapi grahanam plutasyapi grahanam iti katham. how do we say if I say a? How do I argue that it means all 18 types of akara and not hrasva? We say anudit savarnasya, savarna grahaka sutra, which is an, that is all swaras and hayavarat. Savarnasya grahaka bhavati, it will take all savarnas, right? So when I'm saying akara, it will take all savarnas. So when it takes all savarnas, if I say at, I am saying okay, don't take dirgha or pluta, take only the hrasva, right? But anudit savarnasya, so only when you have anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya, you can upright aparastatkalasya, which is the basic thing. If a letter is taking its savarnas using anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya, then you can prevent the other kalas. You can either prevent hrasva, dirgha, pluta, any of the other kalas using taparatkalasya, right? Is this point clear? An does not include out is not correct. An atraiva an parena nakarena. In anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya, an will mean parena nakarena. That is, it goes till hayavarat and lan. So it includes all swaras, it includes hayavarala also. But okay, is this point clear to everybody? We can use taparatkalasya only when savarna grahana has been done by anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya. Yatra anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya ityanena savarna grahanam asti tatraiva taparastatkalasya ityasya pravrittihi bhavitum arhati. Yadi a ityanena sarvesham savarnanam hrasva dirgha plutanam grahanam bhavati tada at ityukte kevalam hrasvakarah iti vaktum shakyate. Okay, so where anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya applies, there only taparastatkalasya can apply here. And what is one more condition for anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya? Avidhiyamanaha ana. Apratyaya is interpreted as avidhiyamanaha. Avidhiyamanaha an udicca savarnasya grahakah bhavati. Savarnasya samyasyat. Avidhiyamanaha is where it is not an adesha or a pratyaya or anything. Where it is vidhiyamana, that is why, I mean, there I understand in samya prakarana it would have been very difficult to understand, but the point is very clear here. He says avidhiyamanaha an uditya savarnasya, where an is not vidhiyamana, it is not being mandated. There only there is savarna grahana. If an is vidhiyamana, tyadadinam aha ityuchyate. The tyadadis are replaced by a. A is the adesha there. He does not say at. He need not say at because a means only a. It means only hrasvakara. It does not take its savarna. Savarna grahakatvam nasti. Yatra vidhiyamana asti. Arthat adeshaha athava pratyayah bhavati. Tatra savarna grahanam eva nasti. Similarly, when he says diva out, aukara is the adesha. If it is the adesha, there is no savarna grahana. It does not take its savarna. Au means only dirgha ukara. It does not mean pluta ukara. So to exclude pluta ukara, I don't need to have taparakarana at all. Savarna grahanam eva nasti ityatah taparakaranatvam api napekshate. So arguing that it is taparakarana is based on the assumption that there is savarna grahana. Where it is vidhiyamana, there is no savarna grahana, so there is no requirement of taparakarana. That is why he says takaraha uccharanarthaha phalabhava. There is no phala for takara. Is that okay? Now if you go back to anudit savarnasya cha pratyaya and taparastatkalasya, I think things will be a bit clearer. What is that avidhiyamana and why is it required? Any questions? Yes. Chiragopanji.
The explanation is okay, logical, but probably to remove of doubt, he has always been saying it, everywhere he is doing.
Sorry, I could not catch your words. There was some breaking up of voice.
No, I thought in many other places also, the sutras refer to it and it like that. Where also is it exactly Ucharnatham, or he is trying to make it.
Where, sorry? Which?
There will be Yit Adesha in some places. In some places.
Which Adesha?
Yit, Ikara.
It, where?
Ikara Adesha. In some other sutras.
True. There are some cases where he's used takara in Adesha. Everywhere we treat it as Ucharanartha. Or takara.
Or will it be better to say that it is for any removal of doubt, as we say, illegal parlance? Okay.
Hello? Hello?
What Sargopanji is perhaps saying is, there are many sutras. Hello?
Sorry. I think I was out of audio for a few seconds because the connection was reset. So if you have been saying anything, I didn't get it. So let's just.
There are many sutras, Prakaranam is used. And many places they are Adeshas. So they are Vidhiyamana.
No. Where there is Adesha, there is no Taparakarana. Which is clear. Atobhisa is he uses Taparakarana because Ata is not Vidhiyamana. If it is an Adesha, it is Vidhiyamana, and in that cases there is no Taparakarana. Okay, that is the rule. There is no Taparakarana if it is an Adesha. There are some cases where Panini uses Takara even for Adeshas, like say in Out. Okay, there we say it is Ucharanartha, it does not have a Phala. There might be some cases where the Takara is needed for Swara purposes. If it is a tit, there might be some swara, so therefore he might have made it as tit is one case. Okay, or there might be some other prayojana somewhere. Okay, but nowhere is it taparakarana is my point. Takara being it is different, and it being tapara is different. Taparakarana is different from takara being it. Okay, there might be takara in an adesha somewhere, which is for a different purpose, either for a swara purpose or for some karya purpose, which might be there. But if it is an adesha, it is never taparakarana. It is, you don't need to use taparas tatkalasya in any adesha because savarna grahana itself is not there in an adesha. If it is an adesha and if Panini has added a takara with no use, we always treat it as ucharanartha. We do not take it as taparakarana. We need not take it as taparakarana because taparakarana is not needed in case of that. That is the rule, always. So if you have examples where you think that the adesha has taparakarana, bring it to my notice. I'll see what is the case there and I'll tell you. Okay, if you know any examples where you think it is an adesha, taparakarana is not needed, but taparakarana has been done, just let me know. It will generally, I mean, I know a few examples where it generally turns out to be ucharanartha or it has some other purpose, but it is not taparakarana. Because the anudit savarnasya, the basic thing for applying savarna grahana is avidhiyamanatva. Where it is vidhiyamanatva, there is no savarna grahana and therefore there is no taparakarana also. Okay, any other questions? Okay, just, I mean, if you still have doubts, you can always ask, whether through mail or tomorrow's class, always. So just think about this and go back to Anudit and Taparas Tatkalasya. Hope things will be clear. Okay. We'll stop here for today. Enakshara samam nayamadhigamya maheshwarat kritsnam vyakaranam proktam tasmai paninaye namaha. मुनित्रयं नमस्कृत्य तदुक्तिः परिभाव्य च वैयाकरणसिद्धान्तकौमुदीयं विरच्यते.
The organizer